was molested when she was 6 by someone she trusted.
The doctors finally walked into the door. They basically were telling me that she had a 5% chance of living.
I couldn't understand how somebody that tells you they loved you, that held you as a child, could abuse you.
Tommy Scott grew up among gang violence, drugs, and poverty in the projects of South Central Los Angeles.
I felt not normal, not good. I wasn't lovable.
As a teen, Melissa discovered that drinking gave some relief.
Tommy is free today and continues to tell people that it was Jesus who changed his life.
The time I spent in prison, I spent putting my ideas together on, how I was going to come back and make it all right.
And I realized my purpose, that I was created to reflect the glory of God.
Duke now realizes why God kept him alive.
These were real people facing desperate situations, just like you and me.
Jesus died to set you free, and he can give you a new heart.
NTV kusawe mukulikayo ate mukuwumulamu kadde kabya mizannyo naye nga tunagenda mujja wano e Uganda. Liverpool erine Tottenham era nga Liverpool yakalaba goals 3. Tottenham yo tinabakwanukula, tujja kuba tuyibawa mu maaso kaawo naye nga wano e Uganda, tiimu ya Uganda ensituzi y'obuzito etandise bulungi empaka z'amawanga g'omukago ng'Obuyisiraamu bwe wangudde emidaali 2 mu mizannyo egiguddewo empaka zino olwaleero. Adumira tiimu eno Charles Sechaya yawangudde emidaali gino okubadde ogwa zaabu saako n'ogwa ffeeza.
Essanyu libuutikidde Lugogo Indoor Stadium akawungeezi ka leero. Kapiteni wa ttiimu y'eggwanga esituzi y'ebizito Charles Sechaya wawangulidde eggwanga omudaali ogwa zaabu mu mpaka z'amawanga. Sechaya abadde attunka ne Abdulatif Kadiro owa Saudi Arabia asitudde obuzito bwa kilo 116 mu kakodyo akasinaki ate ye munne n'akoma ku buzito bwa kilo 115. Musa Abdel Khalifa owa Libya yakutte ekyokusatu mu kakodyo kano bw'akomye ku kilo 110 n'atwala omudaali ogw'ekikomo. Mu kakodyo aka Kilinan Jack Sechaya yavuddeyo na mudaali gwa ffeeza oluvannyuma lw'okusitula kilo 148 ate ye Kadiro owa Saudi Arabia n'awangula zaabu ng'akomye ku buzito bwa kilo 154. Mu kakodyo kano era Khalifa owa Libya yakutte ekyokusatu n'obuzito bwa kilo 14 n'atwala omudaali ogw'ekikomo.
Kuya bulungi nnyo okubeera nga mpangulidde ensi yange emidaali egyo era nga nkimanyi ne ttiimu n'abasigadde ku ttiimu yange bagenda kukola nga bwe nkoze, bagenda buli omu kuwangula mudaali.
Empaka zino zagenda mu maaso n'olunaku lw'enkya ng'abasituzi abasingawo ku baleero obuzito battunka. Zo empaka z'abakazi za kutandika ku Lwakubiri. Sam Mpoza, NTV.
NTV ku ssaawa emu oluvannyuma lw'ebyemizannyo ate ketukulage entebeza y'obudde y'olunaku olw'enkya.
New Mortin Doom Power Guard. Nothing kills faster and keeps killing for longer. New Mortin Doom Power Guard. Nothing kills faster and keeps killing for longer.
NTV ku ssaawa emu olw'obudde bwe tuyinza ate kusukawo olunaku olwaleero. Nze Patrick Mukasi nkya lunaku lwa Monday, lunaku lwa kukola n'olwekyo tuwebaka n'obulizaako. Nkwagaliza birungi byerere, sula bulungi, weeraba.
NTV, turning on your world.
Program Guide.
And the change of government won't stop a thing. I've run out of fingers counting the number of multinationals setting up here. What about the 3 companies that announced their plans to launch last week? I say they're shortly. Me, I'd be looking to sell. At what price? More. Much, much more. I don't know who you are or how you know these things, but one thing I'm sure of, you're in the wrong job. Here, call me tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'd like to hear more from you.
Are you ready for your big break? The East African, understanding the region.
You're watching Morning at NTV.
It's every employee's worst nightmare. Monday. And I'm telling you, every time you look at your bed sheets or your clock, you're like, what the is going on? But here on NTV, Morning at NTV will get you started. And let's look at it this way. Think of the plans ahead, the projects you are going to make sure that will definitely be achieved. Well, let's get you started on a powerful week ahead into the new month right here on Morning at NTV with our question of the day. Good morning. It's Monday, so we are talking money. Yes. Tell us the Minister of Finance, and you'll walk out with something awesome from Morning at NTV. Remember, all you have to do is send it to Facebook, Morning at NTV. Our Twitter is at Morning at NTV, and you can also send the text to 6565. All our platforms are open. You can follow us at MB Gold 2, at Joel Senyonyi, at Mebkeb, at Kasiate, at Dakabachigongo, at NTV Uganda, and at Morning at NTV. Now, the beautiful Mabel is standing by at the NTV studios at the International Conference Center to get you started this week with the stories that are making headlines. Good morning, Mabel.
Good morning, Brian, and I'm just wondering if everyone hates Monday as much as probably you do. But Monday is not such a bad day. Anyway, welcome to the show. Welcome to Morning at NTV today, the 31st day of March. Thank you for joining us. Let's see some of the stories making headlines today. The NRM lawmakers begin mobilizing support for President Museveni. A low voter turnout as NRM chooses a flag bearer for Kampala Lord mayoral seat. And civil society organizations call on government to slash its spending in the next financial year.
You're watching Morning at NTV.
Once again, a warm welcome to today's show. A section of NRM lawmakers have begun carrying out up-country tours to mobilize support for President Museveni in preparation for the 2016 elections. The tours come barely a month after NRM leaders resolved to embark on a massive countrywide tour to popularize the president's candidacy. Maurice Ochol was in Chibale and now reports.
Hundreds of locals in Chibale district gathered in Kakumiro village to hold a belated International Women's Day celebration that's marked globally on the 8th of March. The government chief whip Kasule Lumumba was the chief guest. The function attracted lots of women who converged to hear the messages from the women leaders. The overriding message by the speakers called on the women to support President Museveni to stand as the sole candidate of the NRM in the 2016 polls.
To support our Muzei, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, to stand as a president 2016 as a sole candidate. And we stand to support him in all corners. And we are calling upon the people of Kibale as usual.
Changing leaders at that level of presidency was the issue for Uganda. Uganda would have been developed long ago because we have changed the leaders, so many.
Other legislators spoke highly of President Museveni's capabilities and emphasized that they were not paid a single coin to drum up support for him.
So we strongly support it, and I want to thank the members of parliament in their caucus for coming up with such resolutions, and I think it's the way to go.
So they should continue supporting this government. It's this government that has brought them from wherever they are to where they are now, and this government can still lead them to where they want to go.
This comes on the heels of a divergent view expressed by the NRM Central Executive Committee, which reportedly rejected the caucus resolution in Chankwanzi calling for President Museveni to stand as the sole candidate of NRM candidate. NTV has also learned that a number of NRM local council leaders and administrators have been summoned to State House Entebbe today. It's not clear what the agenda is, but some NRM insiders who declined to appear on camera say it was to do with the tension stirred by Prime Minister Mama Mbabazi alleged presidential ambitions. Senior NRM leaders believe that the Premier's network has infiltrated the party's local council and administrators, which has the majority of the NRM delegates. Maurice Ochol, NTV.
NRM voters turned out in small numbers as elections to choose the NRM flag bearer for the Kampala Lord mayoral seat got underway. Among the contestants are former Rubaga Division Chairperson Peter Sematimba, Medi Kasule, Fred Kaziwe, and Naja Twaha. It's not clear yet whether the NRM is fronting a candidate for the future mayoral race barely after the High Court Judge Lydia Magembe Sali delivered a verdict halting the by-election for the mayoral seat slated for April 17th.
The NRM party has registered a low turnout during primaries to select a flag bearer for the Lord mayoral seat. This comes barely after High Court Judge Lydia Mugambe Sali's ruling halted the Electoral Commission process to hold a by-election for the seat slated for April 17th. In her ruling, Mugambe said such a process would be legally flawed because Arias Lukwago is still Lord Mayor. Some candidates wishing to vie for the flag-bearer position claim the race is skewed to favor certain candidates and would challenge its legality in court.
You get at the polling station where there are no people, the mobilization has been poor, but almost the ballot papers are finished.
Rubaga and Machindi is a mess. If they have the same information about taking the votes, so this means that I have no choice other than going to court.
I have not heard of any rumors of my people antagonizing the system or the way the elections are taking place. All I know is that we're all working under the same rules that all the candidates must follow.
Speaking about the party's next course of action, Attorney General Peter Nyombi, who was found guilty of contempt of court by Judge Mugambe, said they will appeal her ruling.
If we are aggrieved by the decision of the judge, what we have to do is to go to court, to a superior court. And that's what we are going to do tomorrow.
There is a likely showdown tomorrow as reports emerge that the police will not allow Lukwago resume his seat, a decision which will flout the High Court verdict. Sheila Nduchire, NTV.
A coalition of civil society organizations engaged in budget advocacy work is calling on the government to considerably slash its spending in the next financial year and redirect its resources to sectors like education and health. The officials of the civil society budget advocacy group made the call at a press briefing in Kampala. Ernest Wisdom Chionga has more.
Members of the civil society budget advocacy group cite the creation of districts and other public institutions as one of the causes that have increased public administration costs in Uganda. The activists suggest that the government expedites the passing of the Public Finance Bill 2012, among other interventions.
We recommend merging of agencies that have duplicating roles. For example, merging Uganda Tourism Board, Uganda Wildlife Authority, and the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. We recommend merging Uganda Investment Authority and the Uganda Export Promotion Board. We recommend merging the President's Office and the State House.
Let us merge these smaller, tiny, inefficient districts. For every district you merge, you know an MP is gone. For every district you merge, you know a cow is gone and all the civil servants.
They also took issue with the government's proposal of letting the private sector manage agriculture, as laid down in the National Budget Framework paper for the next financial year.
We shall have a problem there because private sector will only go in those areas that are profitable. So if you want to go to put a borehole in a Kabong, I don't know how a private sector person is going to do that one. It is still a government responsibility.
The group also criticized the government's efforts of addressing youth unemployment as inadequate.
We believe that handouts cannot address the question of youth unemployment. And in our proposal, we are thinking about how about government facilitating self-employment, a do-it-yourself employment strategy.
The National Budget Framework paper allocates 2.1 billion shillings for special needs education, which is less than 1% of the allocation stipulated in the National Disability Act.
The proposed funding for special needs education in the Ministry of Education for financial year 2014-2015 stands at 0.12%, an equivalent of only 2.6 billion. Worse still, this budget has been reduced from 2.16 billion in the last financial year, which is a reduction of 4.6%.
NTV's efforts of getting a comment from government technocrats were futile. But the group hopes that their suggestions will be considered for adoption in the national budget of the 2014-2015 financial year.
This is the right moment that the government has proposed what it intends to put in the budget for the next financial year and has also asked Parliament to input. And therefore we believe that it is the right moment and opportunity to input into this budget process.
The group, however, commends the government for increasing teachers' salaries and setting up a treasury single account for eliminating ghost teachers in their critique of the budget framework paper. Ernest Wisdom Chionga.
That concludes our morning bulletin. Let's find out what's making news in the papers today by joining Joel, Simon and Brian.
Not many Monday mornings are as bright and brilliant and rosy like it is on this 31st day of March 2014. Yes, this morning at NTV's Press Review coming to you live from the rooftop of the Kampala Serena Hotel. And it's, yes, the usual trio, very vibrant young men. Simon, Joel, and Brian. Good morning, folks.
Morning.
Good morning. With us we have the red paper. Interesting this morning. Fire at State House. Well, do not call the fire brigade. This is something a bit political. As Museveni sets cabinet reshuffle date and two Kaihura Lumpens hit at Mbabazi wife. Now, let's not forget that Mrs. Jacqueline Mbabazi, the wife of Prime Minister and also Secretary General of the NRM, Mama Mbabazi, is making it in the headlines again in many weeks coming, and from the weekend newspapers to date, she is featuring on the front page of most newspapers. In fact, we have her on 2 of the 3 newspapers we have with us here today. In the Daily Monitor, Mrs. Mbabazi is saying the Besigye torture was wrong. She is intimating the fact when in 2011 former presidential candidate and also then leader of the Forum for Democratic Change was brutally arrested and tear gas sprayed in his eyes in a manner so grotesque. You remember those pictures very well. That she, Jacqueline, protested the president and said, look, Mr. President, we are having a police state on our hands. It's in the Daily Monitor here on the front page. And guess who is pouring some cold water on her assertions? The presidential spokesperson, Tamale Mirundi, is saying, and I want to quote here, why didn't Madame Mbabazi reveal it at the time when it was more relevant? It's irrelevant now. When people are facing challenges, they get excuses. That's the quintessential Mirundi. In other words, simply saying that a drowning man, and in this case a woman, will clutch at any straw.
For once, I agree with Tamale Mirundi. Rarely do I. Many times I think he is a very big joker. I can say that as unequivocally as I possibly can.
Why you call him a joker? Just because he's got an accent you don't agree with?
Oh, are you kidding me? I am an intellectual.
If this woman was...
No, many times I don't take him too seriously. But look, seriously, why is Mrs. Mbabazi coming out now? Yeah, she should have come up when it was a lot more relevant. And I can tell you there's going to be a lot more spilling of beans as we quickly head to 2016. You know, they are disgruntled fellows and they're thinking, okay, we know a lot more, we'll keep speeding one at a go.
Well, the Red Paper this morning is quoting a certain so-called lumpen, one Sevina Sechitoreko, who is saying he knows quite a lot about the Mbabazi couple, and I think if they do not restrain themselves from making further remarks about him and the operations, he is out to reveal these bins. So talking about revealing bins, it seems that we were out for serious revelations.
Everybody seems to know quite
absurd that, you know, it has come down to this. I think both men, Mbabazi and, with all due respect, the president and whoever is helping him blast the Mbabazis are very politically immature in this case. This is not
the political expect, you know. Very seriously.
For example, me who admires a couple of them, I feel so sorry for them.
So they are your mentors, your heroes.
No,
they let you down.
No, they are good. They are good men.
Which one?
While they are annoying politicians.
You might want to qualify good.
But now look at this. No wonder the Red Paper calls him a lumpen. You say you will expose this. This is, you know, let them play the game the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but he's probably playing part of the game because it's not just two players. There is
talking about Mbabazi this morning. We see in the Red Paper a report that he is accepted to be a patron of an all-African youth organization, which came up to him and sought for his they call it patronship. Well, there we are. So Mbabazi is addressing these young people and expressing to them his love for youth and looking at them as the future of this country.
I would love youth if I were him as well.
I give it to Mbabazi. And he's already, you know, in touch with us. He tweets a lot.
Yeah, as you who do not vote.
Who?
On that day you remain home. You corporates, you can't vote.
Oh,
you sit and recline, it's a public holiday and you relax. But the observer is also talking about Mbabazi here, and this is ex-VP Bukenya. He says how Mbabazi fought me over succession. He says Mbabazi was his biggest enemy in government.
Wow. Let me tell Bukenya, I hope he's watching, that even if it weren't for Mbabazi, let's not have an exaggerated sense of self-worth. There's clearly no way, my dear friend Gilbert Bukenya, thinks that he would have won the presidency of this country.
Just like there's no way Mbabazi can win the presidency of this country for Mbabazi. You see what we are saying is, and ball be played, right?
No, I'm saying that those who are in there, let them not blame anything. I mean, go in there, lose fair and square, but not blame other people.
Yeah, you're talking about fair and square. Was it fair and square?
Simon cares. The thing is this, your ability
we should care. If our country is being run in a certain way, we should be concerned.
Let me tell you one thing. Your ability to go against insurmountable opposition and then you win a seat is what makes you tick. When you lose it, you have no moral grounding to come and stand in newspapers and say so and so is blamed for my loss. I would rather listen to you saying so and so tried to fail me, but I succumbed. I won.
Bukenya are complaining that Mbabazi fought him a lot, you know, in terms of
Bukenya was his biggest undoing himself. His personal moral turpitude was one of the biggest problems. Let's not miss
that was. And who is not tomorrow? All I know is rubber-dabbing ladies at
So you too, forsworn Christians in a country whose motto is for God and my country, are here condoning people with a
moral. Yes, use that yardstick. Let me tell you, basically we should be putting everybody's head on the chopping block.
Who is Mbabazi? Just one.
I'm sure Serena is going to say something. I'm not even talking about Mbabazi. I'm just looking at our politicians today, yeah?
But I'm also sure the lumpen in red paper will say something very soon. But, Kasiate, is this a moment of karma where Mbabazi was, you know, treating other people badly, and now it's back to haunt?
I'll let him carry his cross like he has been said.
Because everyone is saying
like he's been told.
Well, you see, the good thing here is you hear a little from Mbabazi blaming other people for his woes. Even when clearly you can see that MPs are against him in the movement caucus. As you can see his wife saying here that the caucus resolutions were a mere MP's wish. It's here in the Daily Monitor.
But it could come to reality.
Yeah, when the rubber meets the road, it's hitting them really hard. Why are they coming up now and making all these allegations? You see, I told the president, don't touch FSJ and so on. You know, they're kicking and screaming as they go down.
Absolutely, who isn't? I mean, there are even those who are screaming and kicking when they're already below sea level, like Bukenya. I mean, so... Well, in the Daily Monitor this morning, there is a power story here, consumers rejecting Umeme's plan to hike power tariffs. Let's not forget that here on Friday, we did implore many of you to join the Electricity Regulatory Authority for a public hearing that took place in Kampala. Everybody from all walks of life was in there except the guy who applied for the tariff hike, that's Umeme. For reasons best known to them, and I explained in this newspaper story in the Daily Monitor. Get yourself a copy.
Observer here talks about, this is Professor Stasis Kabojele saying politics failing government politics.
Pardon?
He's saying politics is failing government policies rather, not politics. I couldn't agree with him any better, because the way we see politics infiltrating literally anything and everything, it's very disturbing.
Well, Kampala Capital City Authority is saying they will not block the Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago from accessing his office this Monday morning. Of course, there
what do they mean they will not block?
Well, I mean, how many times have they gone against court resolutions?
They can still block.
For me, this is great news. I mean, it's a case of dog bites, man, really, that if court rules, you must abide. But in the case of KCC, I mean, it's great news that for once they will abide by a court ruling, no matter how much they disagree with it. Then they can go and have their legal gymnastics in courts of law, as opposed to going down the path that they took previously.
You know, I'll be very honest with you. I don't exactly like Okrupago that much as a lawyer. I mean, as a Lord Mayor. But tell you what, I think we did not do things surreptitiously the way it has, you know, the way things have operated. And you can see, government is now getting a bloody nose for the way they are pushing this man to the wall, pushing him. I mean, if it's to go out, do it in a fair, organized manner. But this harsh way of operations, and I'll tell you, you may not like Lukwago, but his perspicacity is not one thing you can deny. As you might recall, he was a very good lawyer. In fact, that's what propelled him to the limelight. Right. And he's playing his cards real right. And I tell you, you've not seen the last of Lukwago. I bet you that.
Well, I hope we get some news from City Hall this morning that he's actually sitting in his chair.
He should. Well, court says so. But of course, government is saying they are going to appeal. But I'll tell you, they might get another bloody nose and another one till the Supreme Court. We'll wait to see how that pans out.
Well, in the Daily Monitor this morning, as usual, we've got your Monday pullouts, which is the next magazine, featuring someone who's living an interesting life in Mogadishu, a Ugandan, trying their own private trade. And, of course, in health living, there is a developing story that many parents need to take very serious keen interest on. It's the issue of mental retardation amongst the children we are bearing into this world. So in the Healthy Living magazine this morning, we're looking at how a parent can tell whether or not their child has their head rightly screwed on their shoulders.
In the Observer here, there's something here that is that I find repugnant personally. The Attorney General, Nyombi attacks judges over Lukwago ruling. And here he says, I really don't want to call those judges, in this case, Mugambe, who ruled recently, and Nyazi, who issued the court order previously. I don't want to call them stupid, because I will be attacking the entire judiciary. But I might be forced to do so, because this is a legal issue which cannot be personalized. And he goes ahead here to say those who are questioning my advice to government are doing so because they failed LDC. And I'm thinking, this is not right. Yeah, the preponderance of some of these ministers, when you see ministers attacking courts of law, you're thinking, Okay, where are we headed to? We see confusion elsewhere in China, in North Korea. There's no democracy. So let's not pretend, yeah? If we're saying we don't want democracy in this country, let's make it very clear. So for a minister to come out in the open and he begins attacking judges and he says, I might be forced to call them stupid. And he goes out to say that, you see, they are making their rulings the way they are because they failed the LDC. And
so that means they are stupid.
This is absolutely wrong. It is repugnant. It is unacceptable. We should be worried. We should be concerned.
Well, my picture of the day here, of course, the UPDF acquiring skills, but I'm thinking, what is the probability that an enemy will come with all these stones and put them on your back? So,
and they look like small men, but very hardened, as you can imagine. They break rocks on your back.
Well, it will continue fascinating us how much our UPDF is able to do, but at least one thing we know is that they keep our territorial integrity intact. And with that, we come to the wrap of our press review this morning. And let's gear ourselves for the big story, where it will be a case of a monkey superintending over an issue of forests.
Every idea we have begins with you. The way you connect.
Good morning.
How you browse. How you share. And how you interact with the world around you.
Your relationship with your God is the most important thing.
Have a company of people who have got a similar mindset.
How do you want people to think, feel, and act after your talk? In other words, what's your objective?
You inspire everything. Because in the end, innovation doesn't really matter unless it does something that really matters to you. And we are HTC.
What's that?
That document.
Oh, that. Just some business.
I came to apologize. I have no right to interfere in your lives.
I've eliminated the only evidence that links me to Ivan Chinawa's death.
But you didn't have to kill another person.
It's not like I've got anything to hide, Nene. Just go ahead.
Victoria, how is it like to work for Miles Vilagazi?
Blood seemed to matter not.
Blood?
Yeah, blood.
I'm responsible for your father's death.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Oda, I no go stop to the singing. No problem. Keep singing. This singing will put you in trouble very soon.
You won't believe it's the boy's father that inflicted such injury on him. Just because he stole 50 naira. 50 naira for that matter. That man should be arrested. Oh, how God. How I wish I could just see that man and give him a piece of mind. Abigail, I don't care if you're chatting with Barack Obama. When you're at work, you learn how to detach yourself from that phone else to get you into trouble. Whatever. I mean, you should be happy that a pilot is asking your friend out.
My brother, I learned that 3 armed robbers tried to rob a man as he came out of the bank at the junction before the express. Don't try to be the hero.
You won't kill me. Do you know how long I've been waking you up quietly and you refuse to wake?
Now you can't interrupt someone.
I'd like to pray with you, nurses, being the vessels that the Almighty God has been using to heal His people.
Okay. Can someone please talk to me? What is going on?
Who is she?
See, I hate cheating in my life. I hate cheating and nothing will make me have 50 kobo to that money I already get you.
You're watching watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Molondo.
Just that.
Thank you for watching Morning at NTV this 31st day of March. We now return to Simon for today's big story at the Kampala Serena rooftop.
The big story this morning, the 31st day of March 2014. Like I said as I was signing out from the press review, it is a case of a monkey adjudicating over an issue about a forest. We are discussing Parliament's resolution or advice to government to terminate the contracts of power companies, Umeme and for the large part ESCOM, which is energy generation, distribution and generation respectively. Now I must declare my strong conflict of interest in this case. I happen to work for ESCOM Uganda Limited as Corporate Affairs Manager soon after this show. That's where my work starts 8 to 5. But that does not mean that I do not have the moral high ground as a journalist to question the issues around the power sector. That's why for the most part last week I hosted here a Catholic priest. I must admit I am Roman Catholic 311, but that would never stop me from hosting a Catholic priest and putting him to task to explain a few things in the church and their charitable work. In the same vein, I am hosting with me the head of communications at Umeme and putting it to him as to why, indeed, Uganda should not get rid of power entity, Umeme, which for the most part, according to our MPs, has greatly disappointed us. They have not lived up to their contractual obligations given them by government. They continue to subject this country to insurmountable suffering through provision of darkness. That is according to the allegation levied at them. And all these tantamount to a bleach of confidence from Ugandans, and now the MPs are coming to redeem us of you at Umeme. But let's start from the happenings in Parliament just last week. Henry Rugambwa is the gentleman I'm hosting this morning. Henry, take us, fast forward, we all know Ugandans are up, many of them very happy that now possibly they will get more light than they possibly were having under Umeme. But how did this all come to be?
Okay, thank you very much, Simon, and good morning to all your viewers. In terms of very quick background to this case, it began in February of 2011 when government made an application to Parliament for supplementary budget to pay for the thermal plants. We didn't have enough generation. Hydro generation. And
occasioned by drought.
Absolutely.
Not incompetence of generating companies.
No, not at all.
Very good.
So we didn't have enough generation, and the government had thermal plants running. These thermal plants, including Agreco, which people remember, they've since left, were costing the government in the region of 33 billion a month. And that's why they made the application. At the time, the Honorable MP for Kampala and Sereko said maybe we should have a discussion on the energy sector. As a result, in June 2011, a ad hoc committee was formed by the Speaker of Parliament, and this committee was given 6 months mandate, have a look, make some recommendations. What happened is that as they began, they went and kept on changing the terms of reference and interviewed everybody in the sector. We were interviewed in...
So the ad hoc committee was set up largely to look into the quagmire of this country not having enough electricity.
Yes, and the cost of that 33 billion that could have been diverted to social infrastructure development.
Absolutely.
So anyhow, we faced the committee in February of 2012, and I think they finished all their investigations and discussions about March or April. Report was presented to Parliament in September last year. Now,
between 2012, when it completed its findings, to the time it was presented in Parliament, what was going on in that report?
I'm not sure.
That's a question I ask an MP who possibly will show up here one of these days.
Hopefully. Anyhow, we're in a dynamic industry, and a lot of investment, a lot of development keeps changing. In 2011, for instance, we just began the rollout of prepayment meters. Today we have over 60,000 people on prepayment meter. We have massive alternative payment system. Losses that they were discussing in 2001, on which they were basing their issues with the Umeme, have come down 10% since that time. We're on 23%. There's been incredible amount of money invested in...
So, Henry, are you trying to tell Ugandans now that the findings of this report have long been overtaken by events and they do not represent the current goings-on in the power sector?
I would say that. I would say that because.
To what extent? Because you see, the report findings are simply saying that UMEME has not lived up to the contractual obligations they signed with the government of Uganda.
Okay, one of the things they said, and you see, what the government did is they set up the regulator. Now, the regulator
who is the Electricity Regulatory Authority,
set up targets in 205, 7-year target, and said, guys, from this time to 2012, when we sit down and review your contract, you have to have achieved the following. Brought down losses to 28%.
Have you?
Losses were 27% 2012. Today they're 23%.
So you have overscored your mandate.
And when we took the concession, losses were 33%. So in that, today it's 10% down.
You see, nobody wants to know about power losses or how much it is. People are questioning one thing.
What Parliament,
when I need electricity, I don't have it, and even when I have it, it's too high for me to afford. So I think we need to answer those two fundamental questions.
Simon, you see, here's the issue. Electricity is a very personal issue, and it's very integrated in our lives, in everything that we do, and so it's a very emotional issue. And when it becomes emotional, when the lights go off and somebody says these guys are hopeless, you tend to go with it. But I just like to ask the viewers and everybody who's reading this story to think back where we have come from. Yesterday, I was talking to somebody who lives in Luboa. In the people on NTV Road can tell you they have had nightmares with power outages. UMEME invested 10 billion shillings in a substation opposite roofings. It's very visible on your left-hand side
as you drive to
right-hand side as you drive to NTV. And he said that outages are a thing of a past for them in Luboa. And this is what we're talking about. The Parliament has said UMEME has never made any investment. We were targeted to invest 65 million shillings, dollars. We invested over 35 million in that period alone.
Wait a minute. You were supposed to invest $6 million. 65 million dollars.
We invested 130. And that is on record, and these have been verified by the regulator and accepted as true record of investments, because every investment is verified by the regulator.
But then there are people who are complaining that they, for the most part, are not receiving electricity close to them, that the grid is not expanding. Well, what can you tell?
Well,
you are supposed to invest in the expansion of the distribution network.
No, what happens is we build on what infrastructure has been built. The government has a rural electrification network. Once they have opened a new area, the regulator allocates that
to a distributor.
And whatever UMEME has been distributed on, we have delivered. We have grown our customer base from a measly 250 customers in 205 to over 600,000
well, see, Henry, you today. Sit here until the cows come back home and you tell us about UMEME's achievements, in as much as that may not be reflected in the MP's mind. But let me just ask you this question. Many Ugandans heed your call to buy shares into UMEME when you listed it on the public on the public stock exchange. Now, there is a fear that you could be kicked out of this country by this resolution of Parliament. What can you tell Ugandans who invested so much in your shareholdings? Are they going to lose overnight? They've already had enough nightmares with no electricity. Now you're telling them you're shipping out?
Firstly, these recommendations from Parliament, these are just recommendations from Parliament, okay? They go back to government, and government will make the final call. The executive will make the final call.
Why are you speaking with a bit of confidence that government will make the final call that's not in tandem with these resolutions?
Because if one followed everything that happened in Parliament that day, the government and the Prime Minister made spirited fight in terms of government's position. This committee made 68 recommendations, 69 recommendations. Government agreed to discuss 58 recommendations. 11 recommendations were rejected, and amongst those was the revoking of the license for UMEME and revoking for the license of ESCOM. Because the government's position, and this was articulated by the spokesman on Capital Gang on Saturday, is that they have no intention of breaching contracts that they have signed. Because we've got to think about it as a nation and as a people.
My next question, Henry, the Ugandans who invested in here, are you simply saying that they better sit back, relax, and know that their investment is
what happened
intact?
is, when we sold the shares in our prospectus, we did highlight the risk factors. However,
force majeure.
However, the risk factors
and an erratic parliament
are mitigated by one thing, which gave investors confidence, is that if in the event that UMEME has to pack its bags, there will be a sizable compensation to UMEME for breach of contract.
Which now is being quoted at about 147 million US dollars.
Absolutely.
Which in my own rudimentary mathematics about 371 billion. Is this country in position to offer you a compensation?
I can't speak for the country because I'm not in a
But anyway, let's
position.
look at it this way. Forget about the fact that we work for Umeme and ESCOM respectively here, and we as power consumers and Ugandans on the whole. Let's be very honest with ourselves, and I think this is something that many people don't believe we can ever be, being very honest with ourselves. Many people are saying we were better off under UEB. The moment UEB was broken down into generation, transmission, and distribution, then all hell broke loose. What could you say to people who still have that euphoria of UEBs?
It's very unfortunate because UEB was totally dependent on government in terms of its funding. Its collection was in the high 60s and early 70s. We are achieving a collection of 98%.
Why? Is it because the UEB provided free electricity, for example, to senior government officials like members of parliament? Are we saying members of parliament are being pecuniary in this quest to have us kicked out because they know that when UEB returns, then perhaps part of the perks of an MP is that you'll have free power for the 5 years you're in parliament?
I don't think so because they don't. Many of the MPs don't remember this 205. I don't think that they.
Many of them were not in parliament.
Many of them were not in parliament, so I don't think they would expect that. But the thing is that on the 15th of every month, Umeme pays UETCL close to 70 billion shillings, which is the money it has collected from your viewers, our customers, which has given the sector a lot of confidence. The guys who built Bujagali came knowing that on the front end of the business, the distribution end of the business, we have a solid partner who will deliver with integrity all the resources collected to the transmission company under the single buyer model that the country has, and we will get paid. The guys building Karuma have seen and have done due diligence on Umeme to know that they will get the money they require for the power they will provide. You can't have a situation where you have a huge collection point at a risk. And finally, on this point, yesterday, on Friday, we met with a delegation from Tanzania. Tanzania is looking at adopting Uganda's model. The Minister of Energy of Liberia came to Uganda, again, to look at this model. And the Kenyans are also looking at this model. So more and more countries are saying, this experiment the World Bank carried out with the government of Uganda,
of saying, break it down,
is working extremely well. Now, we in Uganda who are benefiting from it, because our government is no longer putting money in the sector, the way they used to do under UEB. And as a result, money is released for social service infrastructure building.
Let's close it on the issue of tariffs, because that really touches the raw nerve of your customers, including myself here, because I consume electricity. Recently, you did make an application to have your tariff hiked. Right about the same time, you were announcing in the newspapers and every form of media you could ever get to that you have registered a huge profit, as you may. And at the same time, there's a debate going on in Parliament saying you have not met the contractual obligations of your concession. All this playing around and consumers saying, look, we are already paying too high for power. How were you able to manage all these contradictory things moving on in the same pace? Do you think, Henry, that what Ugandans are paying for electricity is not more expensive than should be?
Okay. Firstly, on the issue of the advert, and I think you're referring to an advert by the regulator that Umeme had made an application to. Now, it's unfortunate that the message coming across is that's what we're looking for. Unfortunately for the viewers and for you, I can't respond to that question because there is a tribunal making a call on this
between you and the electricity regulator.
Yes, and any comment I make in the public media may be construed to undermine the tribunal.
Quintessential public relations here, Henry. But I know you'll say no, but I'll still put the question to you.
Yeah.
Isn't our power too expensive?
Our power is not expensive. And
there's talk that we are more expensive than any country in the region.
I heard that in Parliament, and recently we published an advert, and I'll publish another one again, just again to remind people, Uganda's tariffs in all sector, in all aspects, and that's domestic, light commercial, industrial, we are not the highest in any sector in the region. In domestics, the highest country is Kenya. In light industrial, the highest country is Kenya. And after that, the highest country is Rwanda.
I remember Charles Chapman on this very show not so long ago put $1 million to anyone who provides information to the fact that we are the highest tariffed people in the region.
We're absolutely not. We're absolutely not. And so that fever has been created out of the parliamentary discussions, and people believe they're paying a lot higher. No. And the thing about...
But Henry, tell me something. I mean, this is... I mean, you can take off the gloves because the gloves have already been taken out, the battle lines have been drawn. Are we increasingly getting an extremely ignorant parliament that rides on the whims and fancies of demagoguery as opposed to reasonable thinking and doing some bit of research?
You can say that, I can't.
No, I'm just asking you. I mean,
you see, what happens is that let's talk about...
And when you see them deliberating, what crosses your mind?
Let's talk about the people who are on Yaka, the prepayment system. Most of the people who have been converted will tell you, as a result of having that monitor in their house, they have a higher responsibility on managing their consumption. So they're not finding that cost the way postpaid people are, because...
Postpaid, usually they get estimated bills and the like. But Henry, again, as we close this, there were allegations making the rounds in the corridors of rumors where I happened to crisscross my paths.
Yeah.
That this investigation, this report, their recommendations were for the most part sponsored by a group of people who have an interest in the power sector, the interest being kick out umeme, and we come in and run roughshod over this. Have you heard such allegations?
I have heard these allegations, and why...
And that are in fact moving ahead to sponsor this deliberation parliament by paying huge sums of money to members of parliament.
I can't, I don't know that. But what I know is that every target that the government has set for umeme, we have met. So it will be very important for us to understand why, if we're meeting targets, we are being crucified and asked to leave, because we can only leave if we have failed. And all indicators from our regulator, from government, are that umeme has achieved. What our viewers need to appreciate is that we started rebuilding a dilapidated network. The Uganda Electricity Transmission Company has just completed works on the Western Line. They have spent 3 billion shillings internally generated funds. And the thing about it is that it was last touched in 1963. That is how archaic our system is, and that's the challenges that we're facing in the sector. We apologize when your power gets off, but be assured, we're doing everything to keep the lights on.
That's what Henry is paid for, to make you feel better, even in situations that possibly do not call for any feeling better at all. But he puts his points across very clearly and eloquently, and you can replace the word umeme with ESCOM, it will still sound as true as he put it. We have met all our targets according to our concession agreement, perhaps even surpassed it. Let's take a short break. When we return, it's Simon Says. Well, there we have it. Like I said, when I opened this segment of the big story this morning, it's a case of a monkey adjudicating over a problem facing a forest. Like I said, and I want to reiterate my conflict of interest with regard to this particular subject that we are discussing on the big story. Yes, I happen to have a huge interest in the power sector. I work for power generating company ESCOM, which I must say is the largest power generating company in Africa, and for the most part is known with a pedigree of 90 years and has been operating a concession to manage Narubari and Kira power stations. Given a concession of 20 years, now we are at 11 years down the road and meeting, for the most part, exceeding our contractual obligations. Now, like you've just heard from the umeme side of it, there is confidence in the power sector that government will review these advisory, or should I say, recommendations by Parliament and make the right decision. But there is every confidence that the government, which knows for sure all the facts on the table and is always welcome to knock on our doors to give them even further information, will not make that adverse mistake of taking heed of a parliamentary resolution. But you can also say that as a customer, you may have issues with power distribution at your place. But I do not think that the best solution is to have your distributor kicked out rather than you trying to understand the kind of situations they face, the market in which they operate, and some of the self-made problems that we encounter ourselves that for the most part we blame on the power generators, down to the transmitters, up to the distributors. But that said, like I said, on this show, we discuss any issue without any holds barred. There will always be a conflict of interest somewhere. Tomorrow we'll be discussing matters to do with the parents. I happen to be a parent. I would never step aside because I'm a parent. Next time we'll be talking about issues of diseases that cause bald-headedness. I happen to have a bald head. I would never distance myself from discussing that. Tomorrow we'll be discussing about bespectacled people. Should I step aside because I'm bespectacled? No. My ability to discuss matters that touch me to the lowest nerve, but discuss them with the objective transparency and truth that is a fundamental tenet of journalism is what makes me tick, and I would encourage you to cut us some slack and allow us to do our job in the best professional way we can. But of course, we welcome your comments where you feel we have fallen short of your expectation. Have a wonderful morning. It's Morning at NTV.
I was going to my hall, someone came from my back and was
how tugenda okwebaka ekiro yanga mwami omanyi webakeko nange omulundi gw'ogusembayo.
I went to the nurse and I asked why is it that our father is negative and for us we are positive.
Every time I find a story of assault of one person to another, I get disturbed.
Mwayombye ekiro lwaleeta suzeewo lwe bakwokezza naze poza kimu nti mujja wange yanjokezza
kino ekyafa kino kyali kyakulira muno mu lubuto. The Irene I know just loves music and loves to sing. I've never seen her even smoke a cigarette.
The days of legal trade in slaves are history, following its abolition in the 1800s.
They tie you like this. That's when I started getting past.
Everybody has a story, but yours will only become our story when you share it.
Are you and I ever gonna have a chance to be sisters?
You want the baby to have my name?
Would that be okay?
So I'm happy you came.
Yes, especially since I thought you were shunning all things Newman.
I have my own reasons for showing up.
What did you say about him?
I'm sorry, attempted rape.
Okay, look, whatever you think you know about him, you don't know his heart.
If there is a way to make me feel more miserable, you will instinctively find it.
You gave up the one woman you loved, and now you're having a hard time figuring out how to move on?
I can't imagine who would want to hurt a good man like you.
Okay, you know what? I don't need you telling me how to feel about Lily.
Are you pregnant? No. Then why are you trying to alienate Tyler?
Has something happened between the two of you? Are you afraid that I'm gonna do something to ruin your marriage, or that you will?
Why don't we have a party? I'll bring Nikki and bring your siblings. How's that?
Now, what are you gonna do? You gonna blackmail them this time, or are you gonna bribe them?
Looks like Mommy's not the only one who knows how to make up a story.
Kampala has been voted in the past as one of the favorite cities for tourists, one of the most peaceful cities. That is something that is changing.
Kale Kaihura, the Inspector General of Police, and President Yoweri Museveni, their alliance, they can only crack down or stop individual strikes and individual demonstrations. But I don't think they can stop the growth of militancy.
No holds barred.
Besigye and Lukwago have particular grievances against the government, some legitimate, some misguided. What should the police do? Of course, the police has to intervene, A, to protect the power of President Yoweri Museveni and the NRM from disruption by Besigye and Lukwago, but B, also, never forget this, to protect those ordinary people whose property gets destroyed.
I want to ask that many think that they've actually been frustrated.
Opposition parties in Africa do not tend to be constructed around policy differences. FDC lacks a glue to hold its coalition of different power-hungry individuals together.
Incisive.
You see, the NRM is more divided internally. than the FDC. The advantage with the NRM is it has political power.
Analytical.
I think that one of the best organized political parties in Uganda is the PPP, the People's Progressive Party with Ansari. This idea that everybody is telling around the world that Africans are poor and they cannot contribute to their own political and social emancipation is crap. In fact, I think that the opposition parties in Uganda have to win an election in an unfair and unleveled ground.
Newsnight with Andrew Mwenda.
The average age of the international team is under 18.
The primary role of Team Uganda is to remain to Division 2.
Probably that's the only thing that can make one or two rugby fans smile, that the clubs are doing well.
The players haven't put on they haven't wore the game faces. They're not the animals we saw last season, because Ferguson had the same group of players and he did deliver the Holy Grail, which is the title.
People, 50 days, one task.
An incredible journey of 10,000 kilometers to deliver a taste of home to Humphrey Kayange in London.
A journey you can be part of.
We're looking for 25 people to say Twende Kazi and join the Tusker 25 on this mission.
Join me.
Join me. Join me.
Join me.
Join me.
Join us and be a part of Africa's most epic TV show.
Twende Kazi.
She was molested when she was 6 by someone she trusted.
The doctors finally walked into the door. They basically were telling me that she had a 5% chance of living.
I couldn't understand how somebody that tells you they loved you, that held you as a child, could abuse you.
Tommy Scott grew up among gang violence, drugs, and poverty in the projects of South Central Los Angeles.
I felt not normal, not good. I wasn't lovable.
As a teen, Melissa discovered that drinking gave some relief.
Tommy is free today and continues to tell people that it was Jesus who changed his life.
The time I spent in prison, I spent putting my ideas together on, how I was going to come back and make it all right.
And I realized my purpose, that I was created to reflect the glory of God.
Duke now realizes why God kept him alive.
These were real people facing desperate situations, just like you and me.
Jesus died to set you free, and he can give you a new heart.
oluvannyuma lwa lutalo abaana bangi batwalibwa abekika era bulala basigadde
abamu bajja ne babakima
era twagende mu Lukoola eyo inakasongola mu Buluri twagende mu Butale babalaaro okubuuza omwana oyo mumanyi
nti mukwate obutonde obwekonkome mukwate obutonde bwa Ebola mubuteeke mu nsigo omuzungu ayogedde palamenti muyise bosi basajja
omulembe guno gutuusemu n'abantu n'entondo kati waliwo n'emyaka egy'entondo
waliwo yakiŋŋamba
bamugamba muŋŋambe bulungi kati munkwate empola
dokita buli akwata bayibuli ajja kusomera bintu nga ye bw'alowooza. For example, waliwo controversy yaliwo
tobeera mu ssuuti ate n'oteeka mu gganduula
olina kubeerako kimu
kubanga nkusomesezza tumaze emyaka 2 tusomesa bannayuganda eddembe lyammwe mulimanyi oluusi n'obusobozi obulina
nakulabira abaganda baagala kabaka
Hey there, Mr. Krabs! Are you ready to party?
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it, move it.
Wow! Hello, fellow motor enthusiastics.
Oh, Mr. Krabs, isn't there any way for us to return all of them back to normal?
Hey! How'd he do that?
The Red Ranger's a bigger problem than I thought.
It's time to finish this thing up!
What can I do to make them love me again?
What are you drawing, Kitty?
Mega Rangers? Yeah! That's a mega win!
Hello? King Julian, you are truly inspiring. Ow! Sponge pot! Fantastic!
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Molondo.
You are still watching Morning at NTV. This 31st day of March. I do hope you are having a wonderful start to a new week that will see us usher in a new month as well. We shall now move on to the birthdays. And now, birthdays are indeed a very special time, a time for you to look back and really just thank our Maker for the years that He has blessed us with. And today we would like to celebrate birthdays with Sudi. Happy birthday, Sudi. Sudi is someone who used to play, I think, in a rugby team sometime back, and would also like to say happy birthday to Margaret Namboa. And Margaret was at Makerere. Would also like to say happy birthday to Esther Birabwa, who studies at Makerere University, as well as Alan Ndolerire, who is a former student of Lubiri Secondary School, and Rakia Keys, who works at a family general supply business. Happy birthday to you all, and may you all live to blow thousands of candles. Well, moving on to Facebook. This is a picture of Simon and Henry earlier during the big story. Now, to some of your messages sent in earlier, Alex Louis says, I'm happy to be inspired by Simon. People say I'm great and grill guests like you when I'm on radio hosting talk shows, but thanks a lot and hope one day I'll be on NTV like you guys. And a message from West Nile, Alex in Moyo says that it is cold and cloudy, but there is no rain. Okidi Jimmy says he still doesn't know whether he can miss an episode of the show. And Waldem Windat says thanks you guys for the progi. Tamia says morning you guys, welcome back. Alan Mwezi, you guys should also do weekends, been missing you, and you're looking sharp as usual. Boaz Mwine, good morning guys, welcome back from the weekend. I'm enjoying this guy's name, Raymond, Manchester United, Deo Gracias. Wow, what a name. I'm tuned in. Thanks for the show. And moving on to some of your messages regarding the big story. Isaac says, Twakoa, that so-called umeme, cause it seems that they have no competitors, making their work monotonous. Today there's power, tomorrow no power. And he wants to know what's happening. Bravo, Simon Kasiate. I was so waiting for this Umeme Eskom interview. I believe you handled it objectively. Now we wait for the Bold Heads interview. Happy morning with a happy team to keep it up. Great team. And someone says, when discussing Umeme, you can't use words like exceeding expectation. Just say you are trying. And people are very passionate about Umeme. And hi, Bwana Rugambwa. Allow me to ask, was the Lubowa power station built out of Umeme's cash investments, or was it a Japanese government grant? And some of you answering our question of the day in order to win the Morning at NTV mug. And someone here is telling us 90 days of 2014, and we have 275 days remaining to the next year. What have we done so far? So join Mulondo, Brian, and others on Morning at NTV to build your strength. Thank you very much for that message, Brian. Daniel Abasa. We now turn to Brian for today's traffic report.
A very good morning to you. We're still at the rooftop of the Kampala Serena Hotel. It's very hot, so I had to take off the jacket, but I'm also showing off my shirt and my tie. Like Peter says, I'm looking Zappa and Retse this morning. Maybe many of you don't feel like that this morning, but yeah, you have to go with it. You don't have any choice. You have to go out and make that money. Something I read in the Daily Monitor today about the Kira EV and other innovations at Makerere University basically tickled my mind on the other innovations in the country. A couple of guys came up with an airplane, and I thought to myself, maybe we can build one. Can you imagine, Peter, you're going to the US in a Ugandan-made airplane? Those things just make me think, seriously, government to Yambeko in these things. Some guys came up with a Windsinger app. What happened to those things? Where you have mobile scan systems. What happened to those things? And I think we need to get back to those basics. Later, we'll have a conversation on that, of course, and your contribution will be greatly needed. But this morning, traffic update. Chintu Road is what we are closest to, and you can take a look at that. For now, traffic is really Chintu Road. I wish this road was really at my house. Very clear all the time. Do the people here work? MTN, Crescent Towers, I don't know if they work really. The road is ever, people are walking on the street. Why? Because even traffic police are not available today. So if you're trying to get through up to Ginger Road, you can use Chintu Road to go through. But we got messages from you, and we have a picture from Bukoto coming in from Henry over there, Bukoto. We have another picture coming in from Kabira. All right, that is Kabira. And we also got another picture coming in from Nile Avenue. All right, Nile Avenue, and that's the traffic about 10 minutes ago. And Oasis, and somehow technology seems to have taken a toilet break, but we'll get those pictures up and running in a very short time. And remember, you can become a traffic reporter on 0 16730. That is 0 16730. Let us know wherever you are stuck, whatever the picture is. Yes, we will update it. I got a picture also from Mbale, someone who is in Mbale, and you tell us the cars are very few. All right, now please be a traffic reporter. In a couple of weeks, we'll be hooking you up with live feeds from the different points in the city so that you get some real-time updates. But of course, help us know whatever is happening, wherever you are. Coming up is the HTC moment. Good morning.
We started with the goal of bringing the power of computing into the hands of people around the world. From the beginning, we were designing many of the world's first touch and wireless handheld devices, reaching out to our partners and setting no limits on innovation. We produced one of the most popular touch experience devices of the time. We were building smartphones before the term smartphone even existed. We then set out to make the most versatile smartphones, including ones that let you use either a touchscreen or a keyboard. We saw the potential of 3G early on and introduced the world's first 3G Windows mobile smartphone. We changed the way you use your fingers. Based on our research into gestures, we gave you the intuitive and easy-to-use HTC Touch. We then announced a new way for you to experience the internet with the world's first Google Android smartphone. To give you the most personal experience, we introduced HTC Sense, a user experience that fundamentally changes the way you use your phone by making things work the way you expect them to. We once more revolutionized the industry by launching the world's first 4G Android smartphone. We integrated Beats audio into our phones to deliver the most authentic sound experience, enabling people to finally feel the music the way the artist intended. We created a one-of-a-kind phone with an amazing camera that outperforms most point-and-shoot varieties. Most recently, we once again set the industry ablaze with the new HTC One. Critics have hailed the new One with its full metal body design, a live home screen, photos that come to life, and dual frontal speakers as the best Android phone of the year. Curiosity and ingenuity have defined our history, and we're recognized by the industry as one of the world's most innovative brands. We've come a long way, but one thing hasn't changed. It's people like you that inspire us to create the most innovative products in a world that becomes more connected every day.
Seven after 8, and I'm telling you the everyday life is going to be off the hook. Brilliant guest in the studio with us here. But last week we gave out phones. And we gave out some numbers. You guys, picked your phones, and we'll show that footage tomorrow when you're at the HTC hub, picking your goodies. And tomorrow we'll be giving you another set of questions that you can answer this week, and you can be also a winner. Remember, it's only sending the correct answers to 6565, and you can be a winner of the HTC. Otherwise, head over to HTC Hub at Forest Mall and grab yourself an HTC One Max or HTC Desire 300 or 500 or 600, HTC One, and of course the HTC One Gold. We are the best smartphone in the market right now, and we don't say that no, we are given this award at the World Mobile Conference. So the phones are really cheap. I own the HTC One Max, and at the moment I'm enjoying my phone lock using a fingerprint. Huh? I noticed your sequences like this. Kanoka fingerprint, and then it unlocks. This is really some of the evil of smartphones. Why should I lock my phone up to this rate? Yeah, but some of us hack into each other's phones, so the fingerprint is definitely solving those for us. And tomorrow I'll be back to give you another set of questions on the HTC Moment. Coming up is Everyday Life. Good morning.
It's the first thing you see in the morning and the last thing you see at night. It stresses you out. It calms you down. It helps you remember. It helps you forget. It keeps you connected. It's the only thing you own that is always within an arm's reach. Which is why you don't need to get a phone. You need a phone that gets you. And you. And you. And we are HTC.
Everyday Life is brought to you by...
And we are HTC.
Sometimes life throws comes at us that take the wind away from our sail. And most of the time, you may fail to actually regain what you've lost. If you lost a job or a relationship, especially when it comes to business, today we're going to look at that. How to recover from a business loss. What have you done wrong? How can you correct it? And how can you avoid it in the future? Today, we're going to look at that. And to help me is Pastor Mayambala. Mutabanwani?
Mama Nantes.
Why do you say Mutabanwa Mama Nantes?
You know, we have very unique things around us and about us. Think about Gola Moses. Think about Pastor Evans Mayambala. People who do not, say we are defeated. Never, never. Right. And sometimes when we lose, we wake up and win again. So it's about a game of life.
In your family, it's the same thing, you know.
Yeah,
I've seen, I always believe Gola even if they beat him, says, eh.
But this is the game of beating. It's a kicking and boxing. Right. It wasn't something about dancing.
Right.
You go to beat and to be beaten anyway.
Now, this morning, your business beats you.
Sure.
You lose lots of money.
Yes.
And you're thinking to yourself, what happened? What did I do wrong? First of all, what in the work that you've done, what are the things that make people lose money that fast in their businesses?
There is a stage of life in life, you know. Loss is with us. You just need to know that, you know. At a certain time you lose, and another time you wake up. But it depends on how much you lose and where your loss will place you. So sometimes we need to prepare before even loss comes. Because loss will come at a certain stage of your life. So it is not an evil, when you lose and say, wow, I'm going to the village, to an island, and I will grow a very big beard, and I will change everything about me because people saw me losing. That's not wise.
Right.
Loss will come on your journey of life.
In business,
yeah.
What brings loss?
Sometimes it's inevitable. Think about life. Let's talk about today, our lives. If you died at 99, we have lost you. Can we stop the loss anyway?
No.
Because, that's why some people celebrate people who die and others mourn. So the difference between celebrating and mourning comes in there. Because some few businesses are here for a while.
Yes.
Actually, you must look at your business and begin to determine whether this business has a longer lifespan. Some people are where they are because that was the nature of business that they did.
Really?
Sure. And there's even changes of seasons, because in life there are times and seasons. The timing is now. It is about smartphones now. You can't have this one which you had a hook on the table, the table phones. Those went long time ago.
Yes.
It depends on how somebody foresaw. If you did import hundreds of thousands of such phones, you can't be in market now. In other words, you are at a loss. You have lost the money you invested in such a business. Like some people who are employed, they never, because we are all in business. Because unless you see a job as a business, how do you execute such duties with a sense of profitation? Probably some people are paid salaries and wages, but go beyond even the salary and the wage and begin to think about that job. Because some people go even look for jobs because they want to stay at that job until they will die. The day that job will go, you will call it a loss. But did you realize that you are going to be at that public office, in that public office for 55 years? Because people don't prepare for losses, don't prepare for that moment, and they don't want even to think about it.
Yes.
They say, Pastor, pray that nobody tells me that I'll one day make a loss. Some people lose a good talk in a family. Have you prepared the day that man will back at you? Which position will you land to?
You need to prepare for that.
I am telling you, this woman one day will tell you, I don't understand you. What a bag this one is. Who is a mother now? So you prepare for that. Some people do what they would not have done simply because they never even saw that day. For me, what I'm saying that prepare. What will you do next? The power of preparation here in Uganda, most especially in the African region, people don't prepare for any hiccup. That's why even what people call losses were stages on the life journey. So how do people find losses? Other people do not prepare. Others don't have dependable skills to take them past where they're maneuvering now.
What does that mean?
Because if you can crawl and there comes a challenge to climb, you will lose the track. So, did you study the trends of life? Because some people fell off on the way simply because they could not at any moment manage the next wave.
Right.
And 90% of Ugandans are on that level. That's why they want the old style. Tajagenda. It cannot change. No change. And Tajagenda is not only in politics.
Hey.
Even in office. People anchor themselves in office. Go, so Sarah, anchor me, hold me in this chair. And where is promotion? Because if he's the driver of this truck, he holds himself there, whichever means. Nobody should even sit in this truck. But you are driving a Rayland, and now you have Scania, Tabo,
Benz.
These guys bypass you in a smaller room with a very big...
And you think it's a Subaru.
And you think it's a Subaru.
That's
but
right.
Think about if you are held in that Rayland. So that nobody moves me out of this.
Right.
Even the power to take on another level. Life is a life of changes. Unless you see it like that, things will change. One day you had energy. For us in investment, we tell people, you are earning now, but how about tomorrow? Think about the corporates. They earn some good money.
Yes.
But even their lifestyle demands more money than they earn.
But they don't look beyond that.
They don't look beyond that.
Right.
A corporate should have about 30 suits every day with a suit. Okay? They must stay in Inagun. I saw one corporate warming a rented house. Changed all of the looks of the compound. And he said in his address, I have used 40 million to change the appearance of this house.
That's a new house.
A new house.
40 million is...
Yeah. But now he says, because of my standard,
I have to maintain.
Think about when you drop. Because you're living even beyond your means. You're living even beyond what can be sensible. But because people set up even a certain case called corporates, where do you stay? What do you drive? I mean, and at all levels, they never even realize that one day they will want to need somebody of 45 years. There are not so many corporates that are 50 years.
Yeah.
It is between 25 and 40. That means at 40, if you are not prepared to fly on your own, that will be a loss.
You're gone.
A loss of a certain lifestyle.
Right.
I once lived like a corporate, but how are you now? Oh, it is a very big loss. I don't know how I can recover from this. Sometimes you don't even need to recover. You need to prepare.
For the time of the loss.
For the time of the loss.
Because it will come.
Why do you wait for the moment to recover? How do you know that you recover? Which recover are you talking about? Some few things go and they never come back in life. But I told you that if my grandmother, my grandfather of 95 years goes, we celebrate the life that the Lord has given this mama, that the Lord has given this papa. Because that's the best we can have. Now, people don't even want to look back to what they have accumulated, because here we don't accumulate. We don't put aside, we don't program, we don't progress. And we don't even look at ourselves with planful ventures. So losses come, but we can recover from them.
Right.
But we can even prepare at the moment of the loss.
Let's look at preparation. How do you prepare? And later you'll let us know about recovery. If you're just joining us, I'm with Pastor Evans Mayambala. And you know, this morning I'm quite speechless because I'm learning a lot. I don't know for you. Send your feedback, comments, or suggestions on our Facebook page, Morning at NTV, and you can also tweet us at Morning at NTV. Nika SMS platform is open, 6565, and ask him whatever questions, and he's here to help us answer. Proudly powered by HTC, quietly brilliant. Now, the preparation. Let's start with the preparation.
Okay.
How do you ably prepare for that time?
Let me talk about digging foundations. You can't dig a foundation of Akasisira and think that one day when you get money, you'll put up a bungalow. Let me dig this small one, small foundation. When I get money, I'll put up stairs about 9. That can't happen. The way things start, you know, the nitty-gritty about the facts of that same thing. Because talk about the minimum standards. People here don't want to know anything about what does it take, what it takes. They rush into doing things. And when things don't work out, they name that one a loss.
Oh.
But what was the foundation of the particular thing you did? I talked to students in schools. One day I was talking to the secondary school guys and asked them, what do you want to be? And one of these guys said, you know, I want to go for forest conservation. That's the study he wanted to take when he goes to college.
Right.
I said, but where do you want to work anyway? He said, not many miles from Kampala. At least some 7, most 10 miles.
And you're doing forest conservation.
And he's doing forest conservation. I was wondering which forest is nearby here, probably where this young man is going to work.
The nearest I know is Luwe.
And those are 43 miles.
Right.
And he is seemingly planning. He's studying and wasting time, looking forward to do this one thing, studying forest conservation, with the view that he will work around Kampala. So when these things don't work out, after 24 years in school, what do that person say? I really made a loss. Is that a loss? Some of the things we're doing lack substantive power for anchor and sustenance. Some few things we do will die just after a while.
Right.
Let's talk about the life of a mosquito. Isn't it 7 days?
Yes.
At day 4, isn't it very old? The family of mosquitoes say
it has lived past its
you have really lived. At day 5, they say you have grown now. Day 6, the mosquito is very old. And day 7, it means its ancestors. It depends on which kind of life you're related with. If you're related with the life of a mosquito, the power to anchor you where you want to be is far different. Another thing here, people don't want to work hard for their lives. They want simple things. Not knowing that if you want to climb a tree, you first develop this muscle.
To give you enough energy.
Enough energy. Nobody who got a back problem and broke his back can be up the tree. So if there is anything that doesn't count to the level of being in a particular place, actually this is when people should ask themselves, what does it take? That question must be in everybody's life. What it takes to be a good parliamentarian, to be a good politician, to be a good businessman. What does it take? Because I see many people here, business people. By the time this business grows to around bringing in some little money, he begins to take lunch from Mukono. He leaves Chikubo and goes to Mukono for lunch. where there is boil. Right. And now, he takes an hour going to Mukono and an hour coming back.
So he spends about 3 hours.
Probably. And this is at the peak of his business now, where people are coming in, going in, out and in, doing great business with him. This is when he chooses to say, I think I have come to a certain stage. Even studying your business, when do people come to you? When do you need them?
Right.
What do you do when?
Right.
Because I think, and in my view, I believe if you are going to Masaka, you must know all the stages along Masaka Road.
Yes.
If you don't see Chengera and you're still going to Masaka,
then there's a problem.
There is a problem.
Right.
Because there are 2 roads around Busega. One going to Mitiana, Fort Portrait, another going to Masaka. They are all good Tamaka roads. If you choose to take what seems good for you, the next signpost you will see will come to Fort Portrait. And you wonder whether Fort Portrait is near than Masaka.
How do you recover? Yes, you've planned. Sometimes even when you prepare, things fail faster. And one of the things that people have said, the first thing, I know someone who said, Brian, the first thing, even if you make a loss in your business or in a relationship or whatever it is, return to God, reconcile with God first.
Yes, that's very important. Every one of us must have what you believe in. You must have your belief. What do you believe? Do you believe in death? Then go, meet your ancestors. Do you believe in falling? Fall. The reason why people go back to God, because they know He's the author of everything.
Right.
He'll pick me up. He'll put together my broken pieces. Because they believe it. And that's one area of not giving up. Secondary, don't die. The first stage of recovering, the first choice you make is not to die. Don't write small cheats. I also tried. Banange, but to this stage, I cannot make it.
Nange
bigang. So, but choose to go back and study the levels and the track.
I know some people who play songs, sad songs, to tell themselves they'll be beyond that point.
Yes, sometimes, no, if we don't encourage you, encourage yourself. Because many other times, nobody will encourage you best. We know how you feel. How do they know? And I'm saying there is a right way to do such a thing.
Right.
Don't look for the wrong ways. What did I do wrong? That comes at the 10th stage.
One of the ways is taking a break or resting.
Yeah.
You know, oh, sorry, it's so windy up here, so you'll forgive us. That sometimes you need to just take a break and rest.
Sure.
Does that help?
But don't rest for long. Because patience and laziness are on the same lane. So choose what is best. Resting upon what? Recapitulation. Would I have done this based? Because look for the best way you would have done it. And another level, if you lost a person, did you do your best? Look at the best you did. Because you're not a doctor. You're not God. And you don't even know how long God had given this person on planet Earth.
Right.
You did whatever you could. This is where you rest and say, I thank God I did my best. The most important thing is when you do what you ought to do. And I'm telling people, don't run to left and right. Look for how the thing is done. If it is a relationship, you're not dying today. This is when you rest. Give yourself time. Between one relationship and another relationship. Don't land into a new relationship, losing your heart. A wounded person is the most difficult person to love.
Right.
Because whatever you do will not be good enough. It's whatever you do, I mean, you never start up again. This is when you need to give yourself space and say, okay, let me heal. That space is about healing in a relationship. In a business, you don't want even to misuse the list you have. Because if you don't have better ideas than the ones you had when you were falling, then why do you still rush? This is when you even...
So you need time to...
Yes,
learn
to pick up,
yes,
consult.
Right.
People here do not want to consult. I see people losing their way 10 times. Somebody passes by you driving, and he doesn't find where he's going. He comes back until the 10th time. Said I was going some. You know what is what is the problem?
So is taking a break, very advisable? Because also, how do you know that the break is done?
I don't take a lazy break. It must be a study break. It must be a healing break. You must be looking for means. And if I were looking for better ways and I got them, then
are there signs that the time is over?
Yeah, because if you look at how you lost it, I mismanaged it. I did not supervise well. I was taken advantage of. I mean, you look down. Actually, that's where some people need to sit down. How did I lose this? How did it come to this? Because some few guys who are going to messed you up even in the beginning.
Yes.
It was an appointment and it took 2 hours.
So you
never even asked how he failed to catch up with the appointment. And now he's saying he will come today and comes on Saturday. I mean, he just multiplied the time.
Right.
But if you go back and look down into your notes, you say, oh, I just didn't realize things were not going to work out so well.
Right. One of the things we've been advised is to create some new dreams. And also, when it's time, be willing to risk again. But before you risk again, how can you avoid those mistakes?
You don't need to be overconfident. Some people don't even look at signs. The lights are saying, you know, there is a green light, there is another orange light, and they tell us with the orange light, don't cross the line. If you are behind the line,
just stop.
Just stop. Don't take too much risks. I tell you, even risk taking, we're studying risk taking, and they say, and my tutor said, level number 12 is when you invest with the mafia. You take every risk, but before he brings the money, he can bring your bullet. Because yes, you want to take risks, but how much do you take risks? Investing with the mafia? I mean, even overconfidence is not good at all, There are some retreating points. Some people don't even want to retreat. All signs show that this will not work. And you're still very overconfident with me. All things are possible. All things cannot be possible. There are things that will never be possible.
Really?
Like I will never beat 4 years again. So mind retreating points. So don't be overconfident and lack of maneuvering skills. Sometimes you sit down and say, you know what? I think I need to get skills, or I needed to get skills.
Right.
It works like this. I see cameramen here. Even if you are so wise and intelligent, some few things will need somebody to impart some little skill in your life to be able to move that to that level.
Right.
So another way is a change of modules. Things change. Your old style may not be applying here. So when things change, what do? Do you catch up? Because don't just have a hardy head, you know. there is a saying that says he's hardy-willed. People wanting to be polite on stubbornness. They don't tell you that you are stubborn. They say he's a hardy-willed person. No way. Just present it as a very stubborn person. He's not hard-willed in any way. So sometimes you don't just need to be hard-willed. Look at the modules.
Right.
Look at the working men's. Is it still working? Like where we are now, people working in groups. It changed. Not so many investments are, singular investments. These days we are looking at people working in groups, people working in companies, people investing together, because things changed already. And if you don't employ better strength, because now gauge the strength that level requires. You know, minimum requirement required standards. I think it is better now we look at what does it take to move on this kind of a platform.
Well, as we close this,
Yes.
One of the people, you know, for example, I know when people fail in relationships, they will go to pastors or marriage counselors or you know, or their friends. For business, what kind of people should we talk to?
Number one, every business person should have a mentor. Go to your mentor. Go to that person you celebrate. And these people, there are even people who have taken an initiative of studying business situations and atmospheres. Because some of the things, we're too busy. In business, we're too busy, and you don't know what is happening everywhere.
Right.
You have never read about somebody who lost it in the same venture. How do they pick up themselves? Sometimes the reason why people go to pastors because they think this pastor will have a word for me. Something I never even looked at, and this pastor helped me to pick up from wherever I am. And with recovering from a loss, number one, you should understand which kind of a loss you have encountered.
Right.
Some losses are non-recoverable.
Right.
You know, just need to let it go. If it is not working, don't fight to recover.
Chite.
Sometimes the chite is there. Omusajja ono ajja kumala kumutemako omuntu ajja kukutema. You'll die from there.
Right.
Sometimes even I see men who says nja kubitunda omukazi ono mpaka lwena amufuna. And once you sell all that you have and you are giving her money, where will you get more money to give her? So sometimes you just say chino chiganye.
Right.
And you let go. Because there are 6 billion people on planet Earth. It's about this woman and this man. Look around. The best things are yet to come.
Pastor Evans.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you this morning. Thank you this morning. Well, choose your next steps very, very carefully. And some people have told us life is not just about the sad part. One day you'll be required to enjoy that life. Will you be ready as and when it comes? If you're a businessman, today you can take a break when you've made that loss. But inevitably, there'll be time for you to bounce back. And standing by is Isma with the sports update. Isma, Liverpool is really freaking me out. They are on the money, very serious, and winning this weekend at Tottenham. What does it look like in the world of sports?
Liverpool are top of the league in England, while United stay 7th after winning by 4-1. We'll be talking about that and also tell you about the World Half Marathon team that was in Denmark on Saturday. And we'll also touch a bit of the Formula 1. They were in Malaysia this weekend, despite the disappearance of MH370. There's a lot of cheer in Malaysia over the weekend.
And they had to relocate all the people, all the passengers waiting for news from their relatives and all the missing people. They had to relocate them to different hotels. Does that make sense?
I saw a bit of that on the news because I think people are getting the depression, I think, among the people who are waiting for their loved ones who disappeared on that flight. And it was a bit painful that even when you have someone who is disappeared, you're treated like a criminal. That's what I saw from it.
Right.
But as they did that, Lewis Hamilton was winning.
Well, we'll be talking sport and more when we come back. And of course, stand by. It's about only 26 minutes on to 9 o'clock. We'll be right back. Good morning.
Everyday Life was brought to you by...
And we are HTC.
50 people, 50 days, one task.
An incredible journey of 10,000 kilometers to deliver a taste of home to Humphrey Kayange in London.
A journey you can be part of.
We're looking for 25 people to say Twende Kazi and join the Tusker 25 on this mission.
Join me.
Join me.
Join me. Join me.
Join me. Join us and be a part of Africa's most epic TV show. Twende Kazi.
I'm going to blow your mind and I'm going to twist your taste buds. The flavors are already coming together. I can feel them. Very lovely, very appetizing, very healthy. Remember, the way you see it, the way you like it, is the way you get it from my kitchen to your kitchen.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jesus came to set you free and to be free indeed.
In life, you don't wait.
Yeah.
There are certain times where you wait for certain decisions, but when it comes to taking action and choices, you have to move.
Jesus Christ found me, and he actually asked me a question, whether I wanted to live or to die.
Every day of my life was struggling. It's just that God has given me this kind of hope.
GXP every Sunday only on NTV, your official inspiration station.
Are you and I ever gonna have a chance to be sisters?
You want the baby to have my name?
Would that be okay?
Son, I'm happy you came. Yes, especially since I thought you were shunning all things Newman. I have my own reasons for showing up.
What did you say about him?
I'm sorry, attempted rape.
Okay, look, whatever you think you know about him, you don't know his heart.
If there is a way to make me feel more miserable, you will instinctively find it.
You gave up the one woman you loved, and now you're having a hard time figuring out how to move on?
I can't imagine who would want to hurt a good man like you.
Okay, you know what? I don't need you telling me how to feel about Lily.
Are you pregnant? No. Then why are you trying to alienate Tyler?
Has something happened between the two of you?
Are you afraid that I'm gonna do something to ruin your marriage, or that you will?
Why don't we have a party? I'll bring Nikki and bring your siblings. How's that?
Now, what are you gonna do? You gonna blackmail them this time, or are you gonna bribe them?
Looks like Mommy's not the only one who knows how to make up a story.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat. The average age of the entire national team is under 18.
The primary role of Team Uganda is to remain Division 2.
Probably that's the only thing that can make one or two rugby fans smile, that the clubs are doing well.
The players haven't put on they haven't wore the game faces. They're not the animals we saw last season, because Ferguson had the same group of players and he did deliver the Holy Grail, which is the title.
All right, on the day when the Lord Mayor is on his way to his office, and, you know, sirens and borders, which is really expected.
I wish I had people to drag me to office every morning at 6 a.m. and that would be a very good thing. Does everyone who has an office in the city get people to escort them?
Well, he's going back to office after a very long time, so I guess it must be good for him.
And you know, he hasn't been actually earning a salary, so I think it's reason to celebrate. As soon as he was cut off, you know, his salary stopped.
Ah,
yeah.
I doubt it.
What was it they said?
Well, at least there's one thing that the Lord Mayor and Jennifer share and will agree on, and that is KCCA. At least that one.
Yeah, it depends on who they are playing, because when KCC, the football team, when they were playing against El Merrick, when they traveled to Sudan, it was actually Elias Lukwago was with the team. When they came back home for the return leg, where they were playing at home, it was instead Jennifer Musisi went to visit the team, and actually she had a lot more to give the team than Elias Lukwago had, because he only had moral support, and then Musisi came in with $100 for each of the players. So
wow,
I wonder which side, if you're a player, you'd want to be.
I think Musisi, obviously. But this, you know, the weekend was full of events. The first was the Friday Night Lights. We have one finalist. What happened to the other finalists?
Like the vagaries of weather could be, and this is a country where we don't have so many indoor venues, with the exception of the MTN Arena in Lugogo. YMCA court was drenched in rain on Friday night, and that meant that the second semi-final between Team Bleak, that is Norman Bleak, and the one led by Team Sudi Ulanga, yet to lose a game by the way in the Friday Night Lights, couldn't take off, and we had to scamper for safety. As the weather just changed in all of a sudden. You know, Ugandan weather changes, doesn't take too long. But there is a finalist already, like you said. Joseph Ikong got his team through, beating up on Team Amoding 66-53. And that semi-final that wasn't played on Friday will actually be played this Friday before the final. I feel sorry for the two teams that didn't get through on Friday, because they have to play on this Friday at 5 p.m, then get back onto the court a few hours later for the final, which will start at 9:30 p.m. So a bit disappointing for them that they have to play 2 games in a space of about 2 to 3 hours. But that's a pain you pay for changes in weather that the organizers, Kinetic Management Group, have nothing to say about. They cannot do anything about the weather. It's just like when God decided to take away flight MH370. 24 countries could be there searching, but none has found it yet.
Right. Well, just a quick detour from sport. Lukwago, the Lord Mayor, that is Elias Lukwago, accessing his office 8 minutes ago under tight security, and we cannot access the offices right now. As and when we get the video link from the KCCA executives, from the KCCA officers, we will be able to telecast that. But for now, just an update that the Lord Mayor, Elias Lukwago, has accessed his office, and that's about 8.5 minutes ago under very tight security. We'll be giving you more details as and when we get them. On to something.
Yes, rugby, a memorable night for the Magicians as they beat Fimbo.
A very good weekend for the Magicians. Magicians, a team that has a collection of many of the past stars, especially for me the most significant being Brian Tabaruka, retired from the national team back in 2007, and then Matthias Ochoa has been out injured, the Rugby Cranes captain, until he wasn't named on the team to play this year because he's been out with injury. But they are beating up on Fimbo, a lot younger players, by 8 points to 3. That means the Magicians got their first victory. But eventually the biggest game, like I'd warned you on Friday, the Protectors against the Crocs, which invokes a rivalry between Heathens and Cobs, because the Protectors is a team that has a bulk of Heathens and Buffalo's players, and then Crocs, a team that has a bulk of Cobs, Rhinos and Mutoni Warriors. Eventually the Protectors winning that 22-13. That means that the Protectors are through, and also that means that the Crocs must beat Fimbo next weekend. Might need to beat Fimbo. Actually might need to beat Magicians to get through to the next stage of this competition. That is only the first. It's the inaugural competition, as Uganda tries to design a way to have their own Bamburi Super Series, we've got to say, in years going forward.
Right. Well, in athletics, no medals, but we did well, 5th place.
5th? Is that good?
Well, I think we tried. We did a good job. given the
circumstances.
Apart from the 12 million shillings prize, what other positives did we get?
The 12 million, I think, is good for the families of the athletes who are in Denmark or who went to Denmark. They should be happy. Right. Baby's home waiting for daddy to come back from Europe, and that means something. If your parents know this, what this means. But Uganda as a team, the men's team together, the four of them, that is Geoffrey Kusuro, who was the best placed Ugandan because he came 11th, Daniel Rotich, Moses Kibeta, and Isaac Ayeko. Their collective performance got them into 5th place in the team standings. That means they get 12 million shillings that they can share. Probably this doesn't go to UAF before they get it. I hope they
hope it doesn't. They don't deserve it.
Yeah, they don't deserve it. But the people in athletics normally receive their money directly from the organizers. So this kind of money should be good for the athletes. But then also secondly is that I think the biggest positive, despite Lynette debate in the women finishing 43rd, is that most of these athletes had never run at this level before. They had never been to the World Half Marathon. They have not done road races. I look at Kusuro, he's done very well in the mountain running. Daniel Rotich has done very well in the cross country. So has Isaac Ayeko and Moses Kibet. So they were all, actually, Kibet was running in Europe on the tarmac for the very first time in his life. So I think they could take a lot of positives, and these are genuinely young athletes. I want to think that most of them will go and develop, and probably for 2-3 years they could actually go back and do much better. But a disappointing race eventually, because the top 4 places I think for the women were all taken by Kenyans, and then for the men, there was a Kenyan at the top, then an Eritrean in second, then Ethiopia in the 3rd place. So you could see where the dominant countries were. It was only Kenya, Eritrea, and Ethiopia.
I'm
Denmark.
really waiting for that sports facility, in
Mbuko
to be complete.
I think it's the best thing if the government wants to give athletes in Uganda a gift, and the athletes have won more medals than most of the other sports disciplines. Athletes and boxing have done very well when they represent Uganda. I think that high altitude training center in Mbuko will be the best gift the government of Uganda has ever given to athletes. Right. Because when you have that, you don't need Kiprotich to be traveling to Iten. And if Kiprotich is one of the privileged athletes, because we can afford to go to Iten. Yeah. Many of the athletes I meet in this country cannot even afford, cannot even think about it, cannot even dream about it, that they could be training in the best facility. Now, if you have it there in Buko, I hope it works out. But I know I did meet an engineer who is working on the water supply to go up the mountain for that athletics center. So I think there's a bit of movement. I did meet someone from Ministry of Education who was liaising with the Ministry of Works to get the road constructed. Right. So I think there's a lot of movement.
There's some progress.
There's a lot of movement, though we haven't seen the mortar and brick yet on the mountain.
They'll need a consultant for the police system.
Yeah, talking about the top 4, do we now have the top 4 after the action of the 2020 ICC over the weekend?
We almost have them, because we have 2 of them that have got through. India yesterday winning for the 4th time in as many games to guarantee their place in the semi-final, and so did South Africa, who consequently knocked out England from the tournament. So there have been some big casualties already. England and Australia should be the most significant, but at least by the end of tomorrow, we should have all the 4 semi-finalists sorted out, because later today, New Zealand and Sri Lanka is a winner takes all. It's a bit of a quarter-final. Whoever wins between New Zealand and Sri Lanka will get to the semi-finals. And then tomorrow, when we come here, I'll be telling you about why I think the best game of the tournament shouldn't have come this early. It's Pakistan against West Indies. The 2 most unpredictable sides. They can tend to be brilliant on one day and then rubbish on the next. So the winner between New Zealand and Sri Lanka will go through, as will the winner between Pakistan and West Indies tomorrow. And then thereafter, by Wednesday, we shall have all the 4 semi-finalists for the ICC World 2020. And you ask me, today I would fancy Sri Lanka to go through. I have something for New Zealand, but I don't think they played well in the tournament. They don't have the momentum going. And then I would go tomorrow. It could be anyone's game. They are too unpredictable, both sides. It's very easy for Pakistan to get bowled out for 90 runs. The same way it's very easy for West Indies to do the same. And then, on the other hand, the same 2 teams can chase down 190 runs on this. So it's that kind of thing. It's a bit of a potato. I think when it comes to
if you ask me, Pakistan and West Indies should have been the finals. But
yeah, I think should be the final.
Well, moving on to Formula 1, another awesome win for Mercedes. But this time it's Lewis Hamilton.
I think even much better than Australia, because in Australia they only got 1 driver to finish. That was Nico Rosberg, the winner in Melbourne. Now here they had the chance to get both drivers to finish, and not only finish but finish as 1-2. probably to cement the kind of position that Mercedes are in, and everyone thinks they're favourites for the Formula 1 championship. Right. And Lewis Hamilton, this was as controlled a race as he's had. I always fear for him when he starts on pole. When I saw him get pole on Saturday, I was actually joking that now that Hamilton is on pole, he won't win. Right. We can choose any other winner. And then he goes and drives a controlled race when everyone behind him was falling apart. But while Mercedes were doing their business with Hamilton and Rosberg in first and second, they've got to start worrying about this Red Bull car. Sebastian Vettel came in third. After all those months of struggling with their ability, the Red Bull
finally got his, for lack of a better, groove back.
Exactly. I think the Red Bull are starting to figure out what they need to do. Yeah. Their car is as fast as anyone. It's just not as reliable. While Daniel Ricciardo didn't do well, they'll be buoyed by seeing Sebastian Vettel do as well. And you don't want him to be that close because a four-time world champion, so he knows what it takes to win races. So I think while Mercedes were celebrating, Red Bull leave Malaysia having sent a warning signal to the entire Formula 1.
They might get a shocker very soon.
They should.
Right.
They should.
Now moving on to the Premier League, one of the most
I see your face lit up.
Yes, my face actually had to light up because most of the commentators were saying the English Premier League is one of the most exciting because it's very unpredictable. Now, I don't think anyone saw Crystal Palace leaving their home Sellers Park with 3 points.
No one did, and Jose Mourinho said as much at the end of the game, saying that their title challenge is over. I don't believe him.
Yeah, he's just talking.
Yeah.
But when Crystal Palace amazing.
They were amazing. Sometimes when you're playing relegation threatened teams at this time of the season, they're fighting for dear life. They'll put up this kind of performance. But then on the other hand, I thought Chelsea, even I who thought and who still thinks they'll win the Premier League, there were things in there that I didn't like. A team that wins the Premier League, first of all, does not lose to Aston Villa, does not lose to Stoke, does not draw with West Brom. That's what exactly Chelsea have done. Then in this game, they were totally outplayed. Last week, you could have cried about the red cards against Aston Villa. Now here, Crystal Palace were the better side. Actually, Chelsea looked like a mid-table giant. They didn't look like one of the teams that are fighting for the league title. And this is the kind of result I think you get with a team coached by Tony Pulis. You get that kind of performance. Chelsea barely challenged Crystal Palace, and they'll be kicking themselves about the performance. Because for me, losing a game is fine. Every team does lose games. But you don't get that kind of performance, and you're Chelsea, and it's 6 games to the end of the season, then you start to worry, and probably Mourinho is as worried when he said that their title challenge is over. He may not be right, but I think that performance kind of worries him, and he said as much that some of his players don't respond well under pressure. I didn't cite names, but you could almost get the feeling of that the kind of insecurity around Chelsea when the teams come out and play as hard as Crystal Palace did.
An Arsenal fan, on the weekend, very, of course, disappointed by the result. How can Crystal Palace literally, it was a nightmare for Chelsea, and then Chelsea beats us 6-0. Is Wenger betting? Does he bet these matches? He couldn't comprehend the fact that Crystal Palace
are fighting for dear life.
And then it would have been more than one.
Chelsea.
It would so easily have been more than one.
Yeah, it could have easily 3 or 4. It could have easily been 2, 3 or 4.
Yeah, let's move on, Brian. I don't know your thoughts.
You know what?
Manchester City.
Man City, I was so passionate about that game because I knew we were supposed to beat Man City. What do you think?
I think in the second half, Arsenal were the better side, but I think they paid the price for not starting well, and that's been the problem for Arsenal in the big games. It's been the problem for Arsenal this season. They don't start well in games, and when they fell a goal behind, I think there must have been a dark cloud dawning over the Emirates, because everyone must have felt like Man City were going to win this. Yes. Because when they start well, when they score one, they tend to score 3 or 4. And that's not go through a tough phase because David Silva was on fire at the start of the game. Edin Dzeko should have scored. And then on the other hand is that Arsenal managed to fight back and actually finished the game the stronger. So when you look at the two sides, I think not too much damage because everyone got a point from this. Arsenal got a point and Man City got a point. And towards the end, Man City were playing for that point. But on the other hand, Arsenal probably know they should have won the game. They should have won the game. Was
this our last chance? Because after this, it's going to be a very, very tough game. Probably tougher than Man City or Chelsea, in my opinion. Going to Everton is going to be a nightmare for us.
It's even annoying that Arsenal fans are starting to think about 4th place, yet it's only about 7 points between them and Liverpool. And while because Everton are winning their games a bit up on Fulham, which means that they
are 5 in 5.
Yeah, they're 5 in 5 and 4 points behind the Arsenal. So that means that Arsenal could be fighting for 4th place if they don't beat up on Fulham next weekend. But I should warn you, Everton always lose to Arsenal. Always. I've seen twice they've lost by 7 goals to 0 or 1.
Well, I hope we can thump them. Liverpool, they mean the business. I have too much respect for them.
If they win their next 6 games, they will be champions for the first time in 24 years. But that's easier said than done. But if they are playing Tottenham every week, they will be champions after on the opening of the season. Because Tottenham barely showed up at Anfield yesterday. They look like an NTV team against a team in against Barcelona at the Camp Nou, and that would. Are you
saying NTV against Barcelona?
Yes, at the Camp Nou. Where even
strong.
Can that happen, Maurice Mugisha? Can that happen?
Yeah, but
I'll play in a position.
I think that's how poor Tottenham were on the day. But then you cannot take anything away from Liverpool. Everyone thought that Liverpool would be nervous, especially with the kind of performance they put up against Sunderland in the week. They looked nervous because now the expectation. The optimism about winning the league title has become expectation. Liverpool fans are singing every other night that we are winning the league, and that means a lot, I think, in terms of the message that Liverpool are sending out. But to beat Tottenham by 4 goals to nil, with Luis is getting that record, 29 now, and that is the most by a Liverpool player in a season, and I think he's going to go on and knock off that record for most goals in a season for the Premier League, which is about 31. And I think after that, if Liverpool win their next 6 games, they'll be champions. But that means they have to beat Man City in a fortnight at Anfield, and then beat Chelsea with 2 games to go to the end of the season.
Member, to Morocco.
Simani, but you see, David Moyes was very happy. I like seeing him with a smile. They beat Aston Villa. I think over the weekend, 4-0. 4-1. Yeah. But anyway, moving on to Spain, things haven't really changed that much, have they?
They haven't, because all the top 3 won, and Barcelona winning through that Lionel Messi penalty at Espanyol in the Catalan derby. And then Atletico Madrid winning a very tough game at Bilbao. They had to come from a goal down thanks to Diego Costa. They won that by 2-1. But probably the biggest news in Spain has been what happened at the Santiago Bernabeu. You'd have thought that Real Madrid beating Rayo Vallecano by 5-0 after a tough week should have everyone very happy inside the Bernabeu. But they aren't. There were lots of booing and cheering for Cristiano Ronaldo because most of the Madrid fans think he doesn't play for the team. And then they're also booing Gareth Bale because they've never thought that Bale was worth £86 million.
I think he was overrated.
Yeah, and for me that is a problem with teams like Madrid. They just never let peace prevail in the club because they needed, I think, with the kind of serenity when you're fighting Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, who have a serene environment. Madrid need to create that kind of serene environment, and they're not creating it at this point in time. And for me, that is a big worry for them going forward. If they don't create that serene environment, they won't win the league. There is this kind of fighting. We've heard Ronaldo before come out and say that he doesn't feel loved at Madrid. That probably has provoked many of the writers saying that he's going back to Manchester United. And I'm not too far away. These rumors will start coming up because he was jeered. But unfortunate that Madrid, when they win 5-0, then they are jeering their own players. It's extremely unfortunate.
Well, in a couple of minutes, we'll be crossing over to the KCCA offices where Lukwago has just entered his office after literally, and many people are celebrating. And so before we head to the studios for that and more, let's go into your African proverb. For a fly in your food means you're full.
Sure.
I think so. Or you don't want to eat the food.
Yeah, you start to find an excuse about why the food is too much. There is an excuse because you're feeling full, and I actually had this feeling yesterday. I had a lunch that was only posho while watching Kitchen Delight, and the guy on TV was saying he doesn't eat posho because it's too strong and it's too hard. It looked like he was looking into my plate. And eventually I think it was because at the end of the meal I was too full and I couldn't find a fly in there.
Right. Well, you can also relate it to other things. If you start looking for other women, it means you're tired of your wife. Well, my director, I have to say that.
What do you think about that,
Mebo? Does that mean that
if you start looking at other women,
well, I've had men say that cheating does not necessarily mean you don't love your wife.
Yeah.
I've had men say that. So probably
do women say that too?
I don't.
We'll talk about that tomorrow on Everyday Life. Does cheating mean that you don't love? I think Bobby Wine said, they have you by the food, eh? But ladies and gentlemen, before we sign out, stay with us because in a couple of minutes we'll be crossing to the International Conference Center at the NTV studios with something at the KCCA offices. Stay hooked because we'll be updating you as and when the news comes in. For the rest of us, what to say? Hasta la vista, baby.
NTV, turning on your world.
She was molested when she was 6 by someone she trusted.
The doctors finally walked into the door. They basically were telling me that she had a 5% chance of living.
I couldn't understand how somebody that tells you they loved you, that held you as a child, could abuse you.
Tommy Scott grew up among gang violence, drugs, and poverty in the projects of South Central Los Angeles.
I felt not normal, not good. I wasn't lovable.
As a teen, Melissa discovered that drinking gave some relief.
Tommy is free today and continues to tell people that it was Jesus who changed his life.
The time I spent in prison, I spent putting my ideas together on, how I was going to come back and make it all right.
And I realized my purpose, that I was created to reflect the glory of God.
Duke now realizes why God kept him alive.
These were real people facing desperate situations, just like you and me.
Jesus died to set you free, and he can give you a new heart.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jesus came to set you free and to be free indeed.
In life, you don't wait. There are certain times where you wait for certain decisions, but when it comes to taking action and choices, you have to move.
Jesus Christ found me, and he actually asked me a question, whether I wanted to live or to die.
Every day of my life was struggling. It's just that God has given me this kind of hope.
GXP every Sunday only on NTV, your official inspiration station.
Running out of airtime can happen to anyone. The next time you recharge, simply dial *161# to get going again.
On the next episode of Destiny River.
It is on my land that the city will be built. Never!
You've had the father, now you're dying to have the son. Are you in a rush to be the heir, or is it just the pleasure to have another man in your bed?
I'm torn apart.
Torn apart?
Between what I must do and what I want to do.
Destiny River.
At Orange, we know that running out of airtime can happen to anyone. That's why we bring you Wetase. Simply dial *161# to get going again. Convenience changes with Orange. Today changes with Orange.
Okay, this is another one of my favorite worship songs by Carrie Job, and it's called No Sweeter Name. No sweeter name than the name of Jesus. No sweeter name have I ever known. No sweeter name than the name of Jesus. Ooh, no, no sweeter name than the name of Jesus. No sweeter name have I ever known. No sweeter name than the name of Jesus. You are the light to my heart and my soul. You are the light to the darkness around me. You are the hope to the hopeless and broken. You are the only truth and the way. Ooh, yes. No sweeter name than the name of Jesus. No sweeter name have I ever known. No sweeter name than the name of Jesus. Whoa, no sweeter name than the name of Jesus. No sweeter name have I ever known. No sweeter name than the name of Jesus. Oh, you are the light to my heart and my soul. You are the light to the darkness around me. You are the hope to the hopeless and broken. You are the only truth and the way. Oh, you are the life to my heart and my soul. You are the light to the darkness around me. You are the hope to the hopeless and broken. You are the only truth and the way. Oh, yes, you are the truth and the way. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, Jesus, Jesus, ooh, Jesus, Jesus, oh, Jesus, Jesus, oh, Jesus, Jesus, oh, you are the life to my heart and my soul. You are the light to the darkness around me. You are the hope to the hopeless and broken. You are the only truth and the way. Lord, you are the light to my heart and my soul. You are the light to the darkness around me. And you are the hope to the hopeless and broken. You are the only truth and the way.
When I lose my way and I forget my name, remind me who I am. In the mirror all I see is who I don't wanna be. Remind me who I am. In the loneliest places, when I can't remember what grace is. Tell me once again. feels like a stone, and I'm running far from home. Remind me who I am. When I can't receive your love, afraid I'll never be enough. Remind me who I am. If I'm your beloved, can you help me believe it? Tell me once again who I am to you, who I am to you. Whoa. Tell me lest I forget who I am to you, that I belong to you. I'm the one you love. I'm the one you love. That will be enough. I'm the one you love. Tell me once again who I am to you, who I am to you. Tell me lest I forget who I am to you, that I belong to you. Whoa. Tell me once again who I am to you, who I am to you. Tell me lest I forget who I am to you, that I belong to you. To you. To you.
You run, you hide, as tears fall from your eyes that fall like snow from a wounded soul. You hold inside the hurt of great divide. The hole is starting to get old. So come back to the light, to the love. You will find it's been here all along. So come back to the start, and you'll find in your heart that you always belonged to me. Just take the road, I won't let it go. Give in, we can start again. I'm life, I'm home, and I'm ready to explode with how bad I want you back home. So come back to the light, to the love. You will find it's been here all along. So come back to the start, and you'll find in your heart that you always belonged to me. come back to the start and you'll find in your heart that you always belonged. So come back to the light, to the love. You will find it's been here all along. So come back to the start and you'll find in your heart that you always belonged to me. To me. To me. To me.
God, this worship. If you know he's awesome, come on, stand on your feet, everybody. If you know he's awesome, you're in awe of his grace, you're in awe of his goodness, you're in awe of his mercy, you're in awe of his provision. He's great and he's greatly to be praised. Hallelujah. Come on, everybody, lift your hands as we lift our voices. Come on, say, my God is awesome. Come on, say, he can move mountains. Keep me in the valley. Come on, say it, hide me from the rain. That's it. My God is awesome. Come on, heals me when I'm broken. Strength where I've been weakened. Forever he'll reign. Come on, you got it. My God is awesome. Come on, say, he can move mountains. Keep me in the valley. Hide me from the rain. Has he ever covered you? Come on, my God is awesome. Heals me when I'm broken. Strength where I've been weakened. Forever he'll reign. One word, come on, everybody. My God. Come on, somebody lift your voice. Awesome. If you know he's been good, say it. Awesome. 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 Say, my God. My God is awesome. Come on, if you know he's been good to you, testify. Awesome. Somebody ought to lift your voice. Awesome. He's awesome. Come on. My God. Verse 2, Savior of the whole world. Giver of salvation. By his stripes, I'm healed. Yeah, my God is awesome. Listen, today I am forgiven. His grace is why I'm living. Somebody ought to praise his holy name. Come on, you say, my God. Come on, awesome. 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 My God. My God is awesome. Come on, look back over your life. Awesome. And see where the Lord has brought you from. Awesome. 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 Let's talk about why he's awesome. You say, he's mighty. 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 Awesome. Awesome. Somebody ought to lift your voice and celebrate. Awesome. If you know he's been good, you say, he's holy. 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 Awesome. Awesome. Somebody ought to lift your voice and testify. Awesome. If you know he's been good, you say, he's great. 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 Awesome. Awesome. Somebody ought to lift your voice and testify. Awesome. If you know he's been good, you say, he's mighty. 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 Awesome. Awesome. When I think of the goodness of Jesus, move mountains. Keep me in the valley. Hide me from the rain. Oh, my God heals me when I'm broken. Strength where I've been weak.
God, can I talk to you?
I'm not qualified to do this work you want me to do, and nor do I deserve. Not trying to nullify the power that exists in you, but I'll tell you the truth. You don't want me for this job. Why? I mean, I'm young, Lord. That's alright. Truth of the matter is, it ain't about my age. It's just my resume. God, it shows that I got experience in partying, experience in sex, experience in drinking. I know I can do that. Oh God, are you sure that you want me for this job? Cause my resume shows that God, I was a liar. And my resume shows that I gave my life over to sin. And my resume shows that I ain't worthy. My resume, my resume, and my resume shows that God, I even denied you. And my resume shows I messed around with a lot of women. And my resume shows that God, I ain't worthy. My resume, my resume, I mean the job is not bad, and all the benefits you get, like eternal life, freedom, and peace of mind, it doesn't get better. Oh, God, I didn't go to school for this. I don't got my PhD or reliable references. And God, I really wanna stay. It's just my resume. God, it shows that I got experience in partying, experience in sex, experience in drinking. I know I can do that. Oh God, are you sure that you want me for this job? Cause my resume shows that God, I backslid. And my resume shows that I left the church. And my resume shows that God, I'm in need. My resume, hey, my resume, hey. And my resume shows that I go club hopping. And my resume shows that God, I love the gossip. And my resume shows that God, I ain't worthy. My resume, my resume. I find it amazing how you can still use me after I messed up, not once or twice. Oh God, I'm talking over and over. I'm just being honest. Over and over. Can I get a witness? Over and over. Anybody just like me? Over and over. Cause the proof is in my resume. My resume shows that. And my resume shows that God, I need direction. And my resume shows that God, I can't do it on my own. My resume, my resume, no. And my resume shows that. And my resume shows that. And my resume shows that. My resume, my resume. Hey, oh, hey, oh. See God at most. Let's go, let's go.
Think upon your goodness and your faithfulness each day. I'm convinced it's not because I am worthy to receive the kind of love that you give, I'm grateful for your mercy, and I'm grateful for your grace, and because of how you poured out yourself, I have come to sing this song out in praise.
Who am I, Lord?
Who am I to sing your praises?
Who am I to worship you, Lord?
Who am I to worship you?
Yeah.
It's your blood that makes the difference in me,
And made a way.
and made a way to enter into your throne. I could not come near your presence.
I could never sing your song, Lord.
Never sing your song.
Yeah.
But the sacrifice on Calvary's tree
Is the reason.
is the reason I can
Cry out today. Imela. Yeah, yeah. Imela Chineke mo. You're my Lord and King, and I bless your name. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. My God, my Lord.
We thank you, America. We lift your name.
turning on your world.
Smelling nice and being tough can go together. The freshness of fabric conditioner is now combined with the best ever stain removal of Omo. New Omo, best ever stain removal with fabric conditioner freshness.
Wangula Cash with Orange. Play and win up to 100 million shillings. Simply SMS the word WIN to 156. Answer simple questions and earn the highest points to win. Win 300,000 shillings daily. Win 750,000 shillings weekly. Win 2.5 million shillings monthly. And win a grand prize of 25 million shillings. Wangula Cash and become a millionaire. Each SMS costs 800 shillings. Opportunity, happiness, fun changes with Orange. Today changes with Orange.
What's that?
That document.
Oh, that. Just some business.
I came to apologize. I have no right to interfere in your lives.
I've eliminated the only evidence that links me to Ivan Chinawa's death.
But you didn't have to kill another person.
It's not like I've got anything to hide, Nene. Just go ahead.
Victoria, how is it like to work for Miles Vilagazi?
Blood seemed to matter not.
Blood?
Yeah, blood.
I'm responsible for your father's death.
Running out of airtime can happen to anyone. The next time you recharge, simply dial *161# to get going again.
On the next episode of
It's the knees of Sarton versus the kicks of Hayesuk.
Hayesuk really does mean it, doesn't he? Really sharp.
Things with Hayesuk, he actually can box well as well. I mean, he's an Army Boxing Games champion as well. That was very, very clever. That was nice to see also.
Some punt and some kicking skills from Melvin.
Running out of airtime can happen to anyone. The next time you recharge, simply dial *161# to get going again.
This program is rated PG. It is suitable for children ages 8 and above, but parental guidance is advised as it might contain mild violence and mature situations.
And the bartender says it's not a priest, it's a monkey. But seriously, Denver, let's open a window on this beautiful spring morning. It's 6:30 a.m., April 7th, 1993. The year of the horse. Or the monkey. Or the way I'm feeling, maybe a three-toed sloth.
Let's go.